Right, we're going to look at Chapter 6, Lesson 5 on multiplying decimals. I'm making all the materials for this lesson because the My Math materials use the scooping method that we are not using. This is going to relate very similarly to what we did yesterday. This is what the work should look like. So we're going to be rewriting these numbers as fractions and then multiplying our numerators, multiplying our denominators, and then rewriting this improper fraction in decimal form. If I look at example 1, I'm multiplying 4 and 5/10 by 7/10. Two ways to think about our estimation. One would be that I would round to the nearest whole number. 4 and 5/10 rounds to 5, 7/10 rounds to 1, 1 times 5 is 5. My answer should be about 5. Another way of thinking about this is that the answer should be less than 4.5 because 0 and 7/10 is less than 1. You could also think about this as the answer should be greater than 7/10 because 4 and 5/10 is greater than 1. So multiple ways to be thinking about this. Your students could even say like, hey, I think 7/10 is pretty close to 1/2 and I'm taking 1/2 of a number that's around 5. I should get a number around 2.5. Like all of those are good estimation strategies. We're going to go ahead and rewrite 4 and 5/10 as 45/10. And then we're going to rewrite 7/10 as 7/10. We do our scratch over here on the side. 45 times 7 is 315. 10 times 10 is 100. I end up with 315 hundredths, which I can rewrite as 3 and 15 hundredths. If your students need to, again, you can use number bonds to write 100 hundredths, 100 hundredths, 100 hundredths, and 15 hundredths, which gives you 3 wholes and 15 hundredths. The next one's a little bit different because both numbers are less than 1 whole. The other reason that this is different is that we're having hundredths times tenths, which will give us thousands. So again, my estimation strategies are the same. My answer should be about 1. And the answer should be less than 52 hundredths. It should also be less than 6/10 because both numbers are less than 1 whole. Go ahead and multiply. You get 312 thousandths. Go ahead and put 312 thousandths as a decimal, and then you can check your work. This next one's a little bit different because both numbers are greater than 1 whole, right? So in this case, I feel like it makes a lot of sense for kids to say, well, 1 and 5/10 is about 2, 3 and 45 hundredths is about 3, 2 times 3 is about 6. They should be spending about $6 on the candy. Another way that we could think about this is that we're going to be spending more than $3.45 because we're buying more than 1 pound. Okay, so again here, I think what kids will struggle with the most is this writing it as improper fractions. If your students need to, you could first write this as 1 and 5/10 and then regroup that 1 whole as 15/10. We end up with 5 and 175 thousandths. We need to round this to the nearest hundredth because we're talking about money. And then example 4 is talking about whether or not it's reasonable and then explaining the error. 2 different strategies, right? 2 different things, 2 different skills that we're assessing. His answer is not reasonable and why, and then what was the error in his work.